Jurgen, do you worry that not being able to bring in a defender because of COVID is going to make it a bigger challenge to achieve your kind of ambitions this season, defending the title and the Champions League?
It has nothing to do with worrying or not. These are the facts, so you cannot change it. Why would I worry now about that? And worry something for other people. My job is to deal with the circumstance. That's what I always do, always did. And so, how I said, if the world would be in a completely normal place, and the situation we have, you can be sure we would try everything to do the right stuff now. But the world is not a normal place. So I don't know why we constantly try to treat the football like it's independent of all the struggles and issues around. So it's not a time for massive investment if you don't have the funds for it. And obviously football lives off the things, what they earn. So, and we still don't have supporters in the stadium, and a lot of stuff is still different. So and that's already for a long, long time. So I don't understand why people expect now dealing with the situation like nothing happened around. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. So that's not the best time we've ever had. And we just have to respect that. And I cannot go to the people and say, so without that, we cannot survive in football wise and cannot win anything. So we have to do what we have to do, make the best of it. That's what we always did. And so it's not that nobody wants, it's the question if we can.
Okay, Andy, do you want to go next, please?
Yes, thanks. Hi, Jurgen. I was just wondering, obviously it's a different competition, be a different team to the last time you were at Villa. But will you mention that in your, your team address before the game, or will it serve as a motivation to correct the wrongs of last time out?
I'm not a big supporter of mentioning the obvious. So I think everybody knows that. It's not that we played there 4 or 5 years ago and I have to remind the players on what happened there. So we all know that still. But I don't know what I will say in the meeting, but in the moment, it's not. I don't plan talking too much about the game we played there. There are a lot of things we could talk in that game about. So the goals we conceded, the goals we didn't score in the right moment, stuff like this. So, but it's a long time in between then and now, and so we will see. I don't know. I didn't think about a meeting yet.
Okay, Chris Baston.
Hi again. I'm going to try and sneak 2 questions in, actually. Just first of all, is what we've seen, certainly away from home, probably just natural consequence of when you're champions, everyone seems to be finding an extra 10% against you, and the players, even though they knew this was going to happen, have got to sort of respond to that a little bit more than perhaps they have in the away games, particularly. And the only other question I had after that was just about the appointment you made over Christmas, and I get a chance to speak to you, Andreas Schlumberger, is it? I don't know his name. And I wouldn't mind, could you just talk about what the importance of bringing him is and what his role is?
The first was about away. So you can. I don't see games, especially not in the moment, like away and home games. So there's not a big difference, obviously. So now result-wise, it looks like there's a massive difference. We don't see it really from that point of view. The games, we had a really bad away game at Fulham. Southampton was a bad start. After that, it was a normal away game. The difference between last year and this year is in these moments only that we don't score in that moment. So that's the difference. And we needed some luck in last year's season when we played against Aston Villa. Yes, and it sounds like we planned 2 late goals when we played there in the league, but it's of course not like this. We were in a situation where we just tried to score goals, and in the end, it worked twice in that game and once in another game, and these kind of things. So we cannot compare these situations. And yes, this year is a very tough one. And I said it before, that we don't use anything as excuse, but the injury situation we had, it's not about that we didn't have a good team on the pitch. We had always a good team on the pitch. The only problem is they had to play too often. And now we brought 2 players in against Southampton, which didn't play for a long time, and tried to use the fresh legs, but you see, okay, the rhythm is not there and these kind of things. So that's the situation. No season's like the other seasons. And this season is, I think in the beginning, our away games were really good. We just, Everton was unlucky and nothing else. It was the best away game we played for a long, long time at Everton. even when if we won then one game before, I think, and Sadio scored really late years ago. So it's about that. In the end, you have to do the right stuff again and again and again, and that until the last minute. And the best way, you don't concede after 2 minutes. That helps as well. How is that? The bad performances in the last few weeks, and not all of them were now brilliant, but the two performances, or the two performances last week were Fulham and the second half against West Brom. So that was not how we should play. But in the other situation, we played like we should play without scoring, and that looks then from the outside world, it's nothing. You can do whatever you want. If you don't score, people will tell you, yes, it's just not good enough. But we cannot see it like this. We have to see it really from the pure football point of view. And we can improve like always, like we could. Last year, we could improve in a lot of areas. And this year, we can improve in each area. We know that, and we will try. We will work on that. How is that? This is now next game, Aston Villa. And it's always like this. If everything is going well, then you don't have to explain a lot, because you cannot explain as well a lot, like what you talk about and why are you in such a good shape. Now the things don't click in moments, and we have to accept that and fight against it. And that's what we do. But we cannot now explain everything with bad or that's not good enough, or the attitude. The attitude of the boys is exceptional, still exceptional. There's nothing to worry about. But the results were not as good as we want. And again, teams around us, and that's for sure the difference. Teams around us in the table are pretty happy with the moment. And even now we have a game less or whatever, or they have a game more than others, and they can overtake us, of course, but then they're only around us still, then just with a point or two ahead of us. And so, but they are really positive. There's things, everything is positive, and we think everything is, not we, but people who think about Liverpool maybe in the moment think everything is negative, but just because the only advantage the other teams have is that they were not champion last year. So they want to become it the first time or the third time or whatever, and we were champion. We don't want to give away this advantage, so it's all good. We were champions last year, but that means nothing for this year. So we have to deal with our problems, and they are bigger than last year, 100%, because of the injuries and all these kind of things. And then we have to put the best possible performance on the pitch and win the next football game, and that's what we try.
Okay. So just to mention it, the Andreas he brought.
Yeah.
What to think.
Dr. Andreas Schlumberger.
Doctor, sorry, okay.
No problem. He doesn't care. So probably. Yes, if you would ask people in Germany, is in this area, rehab, performance, recovery, he is number one in Germany. I know him for years. We studied at the same university, so I followed his way all the way through. Then we worked together for a few years at Dortmund. We went to Bayern, worked for Gladbach, worked for Schalke. You know the German clubs. So these are worked before that for Nürnberg, so, and for the German FA as well, for the national teams. So all that stuff is the CV is just incredible, absolutely incredible. And yeah, and recovery, rehab, performance is always an area where the medicine and science are just not. We are not there yet. That's normal. 20 years ago, it was a catastrophe compared to today. In the moment, we are in a really good place, but it's not finished. The development is not finished, so the knowledge is not finished. And my understanding is, how can you develop in these areas when you bring the best people together, let them discuss about different cases, and then make a common decision and go from there. And that's why I thought it makes absolutely sense to bring him in. It's nothing to do really with me personal. It's, yes, we know each other, but nothing to do with that. It was for me a chance for the club to bring in an outstanding person and with an incredible knowledge about very important things in football, and that's why he's here.
Okay, and finally, Dave Malik, please.
Jurgen, just a couple of things. First one, with all the problems that Premier League clubs have had in recent weeks with the COVID, is Liverpool okay for this game with the players and the staff are all clear to travel to the Villa game for the FA Cup?
Yeah, in this moment, 100%, we had no case. So, but the test from yesterday, we don't have the results yet. But until then, it was all fine.
And I was just going to ask you about obviously, it's clear what you're saying, that under ideal circumstances, a centre half would be a huge signing at this time. Clearly, that may not be possible. But so I was just thinking, as a manager, because obviously your job is to win things. How do you go about that? Do you still sort of try to persuade your bosses, the owners, or do you just accept it and believe that you can still win trophies even with this, what is a very difficult situation for you?
Neither nor. So what kind of so in good times, everybody thinks about our owners really generous, my God, big signings, whatever. In bad times, I think they are really tight, maybe from a different country, whatever. But they are not. They are absolutely concerned about the club and the success of the club. So, and that's an understanding how we have it. So they see exactly the same things than I see about necessity of players and stuff like this. And it's not that I say, oh, by the way, a centre half would be really nice, and they say, wow, a centre half, really? Why? So it's not like this. So it's all clear, all on the table. So we work on that. You can imagine. But then, it's a situation. And on top of that, we have January. It's not the easiest transfer window. So on top of that, having not the money exactly like you want, it's a window where other clubs say, no, we don't have money, but we don't need us as well. We are clear, so we have enough to survive. Let me say like it. So we don't do anything because it would harm our targets, and so nothing. And I don't accept it just like this. So look, my job is in moments. It's a transfer window. So is there something we could do to improve our situation? Yes, but that's clear. Everybody knows that. So why should I tell that again and again and again? It's like it is. And I'm a football supporter as well, but I'm not employed here as a supporter. I'm employed here as a manager. It means as a supporter, I see at home, so they need a centre half, and the other team has a good one, so bring him in. So I understand that, but my job is not that. My job is really to make the players we have here as strong as possible to deal with it. And again, would one centre half help and sort all our problems for a game or two, and then he could be injured as well? So we don't know it. We have to work together, and we did that so far. And come on, it is the trickiest situation you can imagine. You have three centre halves, senior centre halves, and they're all injured. That doesn't happen a lot. But it happened. So, and now we have to deal with it. We cannot sort it now on the transfer market. The club, believe me, tries what he can. But in the end, if he can't, then we have to do what we did so far and get stronger as a group, stick more together even so, and fight against the world if you want. Fight against the circumstances. Strike back with all you have and make the most special season ever of it. And when everybody thought, so now they have no chance anymore. Look, we played without three centre halves, and nobody said to us, oh yeah, so you have a good excuse for not winning football games. No, nobody said that. But it changed everything for us, playing with different centre halves constantly, because it changed everything. It changed the protection in the game. That is all. The whole setup is different. Nobody's interested in that. No pundits, no journalists. Nobody says that. It's okay. We are Liverpool. We have to win football games. We know that. That's what we try all the time. But we deal with the situation as good as we can.
Okay, guys, that's all we've got time for today. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Cheers.